Welcome back, everybody, to another story hour. Today we're diving back into a personal favorite of mine, Holy Thursday, The Night That Changed the World, by Francois Mauriac. Gave a little bit of an introduction in the last video, but I just wanted to hop in and go straight to chapter 2. Last time we did chapter 1, the breaking of the bread. Today we're reading chapter 2, the epistle of Holy Thursday. And they continued steadfastly in the teaching of the apostles and in the communion of the breaking of the bread. The 11th chapter of the first epistle to the Corinthians, which is read at Mass on Holy Thursday, testifies that the very day after Christ's death, his disciples believed what we believe and did what we are doing when, 19 centuries later, we bow our heads at the moment of consecration or when we approach the holy table. Serious disorders were prevalent in the church at Corinth, and the mysteries were no longer celebrated there with the required purity. St. Paul recalls incidentally to the faithful in this church what they already know, "For I myself have received from the Lord what I also delivered to you, that the Lord Jesus, on the night in which he was betrayed." There follows the account of the Last Supper, given at the beginning of this book. Then St. Paul adds, "For as often as you shall eat this bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the death of the Lord until he comes." Such is the sacrifice that we still celebrate. The Council of Trent taught that the same Christ who offered himself on the cross offers himself up now through the ministry of the priests. This flesh and blood, delivered for us in elements of bread and wine, are being offered up to the Father as a bloodless holocaust. Nothing has changed since the dawn of Christianity except the order of the prayers which precede and follow the consecration and communion. At the noon masses in large parishes, the gentlemen who stand near the door of the church in the midst of an indifferent crowd and who are waiting for the priest to finish may not remember that what is being enacted here on the altar is exactly what was consummated in a definite moment of human history at a place called Calvary. But at masses read at dawn in these same parishes or in religious communities, even an indifferent person would feel the atmosphere created by the real presence of the Lord on the altar, this atmosphere which makes the smallest chapel of our day resemble the catacombs. The perpetuity of Christianity is never better felt, said Jacques Riviere, than during those early morning masses, when a few words of prayer said aloud are heard from time to time with long intervals of silent worship by the priest, these masses half stolen from the night. But did St. Paul believe in this inconceivable mystery of the real presence, which Catholics accept as an article of faith? Here is what he taught the Corinthians on this subject. "Whoever eats this bread or drinks the cup of the Lord unworthily will be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. He who eats and drinks unworthily without distinguishing the body eats and drinks judgment to himself." Not only did the first Christians believe what we believe, but furthermore, they had towards the Eucharist the same attitude which is today that of Catholics who alone continue to distinguish the body of the Lord. This explains the mysterious mingling of conflicting feelings in the man who is about to receive Holy Communion: fear and confidence, open-heartedness and remorse, shame and love. The small host which the sinner approaches throws an impartial and terrible light on irretrievable deeds, on that which he has done, on that which he could not have refrained from doing. No man knows himself if he has not looked at his soul in the light of the host lifted above the ciborium. In that moment the Church, sublimely inspired, puts on the lips of the priest and the faithful the words of the centurion: "Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldst come under my roof, but only say the word, my soul shall be healed." A prayer that has always been answered since the first day when Christ heard it in Capernaum. All these misdeeds that the communicant sees at a glance are no longer his. Someone else has taken them over, since the pardon of Christ has come down on his soul with the absolution of the priest. His misery, far from driving him into despair, helps him understand how much he has been loved. Such is the sad but precious privilege of the sinner. Love had to seek him farther, to lift him from a lower level. To take heart, again, the communicant finds comfort in the fervor he himself experiences, and which, perhaps, comes from God. If we love him, it is a sign that he loves us, for it is a gift of God to love God, and he never rewards us for anything that he has not himself given us. Thus an almost foolish confidence overcomes all our doubts, our anxieties, and overflows the memories of the defilement of our soul. The priest, assisted by the deacon, the subdeacon, and the acolytes, is advancing toward the kneeling faithful. Happy is he who back at his seat after communion does not need any words, but adores and is silent. On the evening of Holy Thursday, the beloved apostle had rested his head on the breast of Christ. Since Holy Thursday, Christ has been resting in the breasts of his friends, not only once, but every morning, if they are pure of heart. The faithful must refrain from giving too much importance to sensible favors received in communion. Often, a person who suffers from aridity at the holy table will recognize suddenly the blessing of this presence when he least expects it, during the day when performing some task. Or else, at the moment of a violent temptation, he may experience the inner certitude of not being alone, an impression of heavenly security, as if he actually heard the words, "It is I, do not be afraid." What is almost always obtained through frequent communion is a grace which surpasses all perceptible favors, an increased light, and better still, a new strength in God. Well, thanks everybody for joining again. This has been Chapter 2 of Francois Mauriac's Holy Thursday, the Night That Changed the World. This edition, probably one of the better ones in print, is available through Sophia Institute Press. And if you want to support a very worthy local bookstore with a great selection, check out BookMarxBooks.com. That's for BookMarx Books in Steubenville, Ohio. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.